Mic's open. You're on.
Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Friday, everybody. Look, we got Joseph. First comment of the... Oh, wait, no. Welcome, Joseph. Looks like you joined the VV Nation Insider team. Thank you for that, by the way. All right, we'll get started in just a moment. I know the alert will be hitting here, just a few. All right, we got Carol. Carol's for the first comment. Nice. Welcome, Carol. Welcome. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope everyone is not too stressed out. I know all the big holidays are next week. Good luck. I got most of my shopping done. I filled out half my Christmas cards. I get the other half done today and put it in the mail. Whew. Feel a lot better when all that's done, right? Always feels good when you get all the presents in Christmas. Jesus Christ says, I love your thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Let me take the mouse real quick. There we go. Thank you for that. Let me delete this over here. All right, I got Clay in the background today. Let's see here. Hi, VV family. I'm off the naughty list. Santa is coming to town. I like that one, Alfredo. I like what I see in Micron busting out of that resistance zone I was talking about. I really want to see it close above that zone. We'll see. Jazz says Lunar finally moving. Jazz, do you remember the moon video I did? Do you remember the point of the moon video? Helium-3 fusion. It's just crazy that TO and all that. And you know what's going on in the news this week. But don't sleep on those lunar stocks I did. What was that, Jazz? A month or two ago? A lot of them are speculative. But, yeah, look, you see Lunar's finally moving here. Interesting. I'm going to put a video, I guess, combining both stories, the fusion and the moon stocks, because you'll see the point I'm trying to make. They kind of overlap for futuristic technology and ambitions. See here, LW beat on top and bottom line. That way you think buying the dip. LW, we'll take a look at it here. I've been holding Lunar for a year. Nice. CoreWeave is rocking 20% since I went short in it. So you're making money short in it in that descending channel. Finally, someone listens to what I had to say. Finally. I don't know finally, but Valaxi, yeah, if you're in a descending channel, clearly puts probably work out better, right? If you're in an ascending channel, depending what side of the channel you're on, obviously, right? Ping when you're supposed to ping, pong you're supposed to pong. But typically calls are going to work out better, right? In an ascending channel. Very, very basic. So something I want to point out before we get to the mobile software. I know the alert just hit not long ago, but we've been talking about something, right? Where volatility will kind of separate, right? Volatility separates with highs and lows, right? Look at this. This big old book here. Don't expect me to know every chart pattern. I don't expect you to either. Look how thick that book is. This is the encyclopedia of chart patterns. And look at page 1, chapter 1. See the one there? Broadening bottoms. That is the term there. That is the term, broadening bottoms. So if you want to learn some good things, help you make some more money in 2026, I would suggest, obviously get the book. I don't know where I got it from, but definitely the chart pattern, broadening bottoms. More tools you have in your tool belt, the better house you can build, right? It's no different than investing. All right, let's get to it here. We're going to jump into the mobile app. And I will, do you have the Almanac too? I do. I have the 2025 Almanac as actually a gift. It was from someone in VectorVest. They give it to the instructors here. Forgot. Ryan, you wrote that book. No, I didn't write that book. Trust me, Alfred, I would have used ChatGPT for that book. I'm not a writer by any means. We'll buy each one of them. Waiting for yours now. Maybe I should, that'd be cool to do a book. Never really thought about it. I guess I spent all my time learning from it, but you can see, chart patterns, technical patterns, there's a lot to learn there, right? That's why I don't put all this crazy stuff on our charts, because I know I've got beginners to experts. And if you want to get fancy, hey, I've said it before. The more indicators, the more crazy things you put on your chart, you're probably trying to convince yourself to do something you shouldn't be doing anyways, right? Yeah, Gemini Pro, I'd probably use Gemini Pro. I get access to it, right? And Maxon, I do love how Gemini Pro has teamed up with, was it Nano Banana in the new update, 3.0, 3.1, whatever 3. It is. But I've been playing with it. It's so cool. I'll have to maybe share some of those photos with you next week. I'm trying to perfect a picture of me and Lisa Su. She's I would say a role model, the CEO of AMD. No, I'm not saying buy AMD right now. But it's really cool because I got a good photo of her. Just my face is a little off. But you know, I'm still new to it, still learning it. So we'll see. We'll see. Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. Yeah, that's what it's called. You know, you probably, you know, Google it. I don't know who wrote this, so it's not going to benefit me. But yeah, Google, you know, Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. The more you learn, the better, right? But I thought that was interesting. We're just talking about that separation in highs and lows, right? And some of that separation, it's called broadening bottom. If I had to guess, there's probably one called broadening tops, right? And that's going to eventually be a bearish scenario. So we'll see. We'll see. Is it Short Tarot, right? A book of no chart, no chart pattern. AI is taking over books. Jazz, I'm not going to necessarily disagree with that. So just be careful. Ryan, are you a groupie for Android? Am I a groupie for Android? All right, let's get to the market here. See the major indices, we got the gap up. We're holding that gap up right now. Still seeing some enthusiasm here. The Dow Jones up 0.5%. Look at the NASDAQ up 1% right now. I do like that. SPX up 0.82%. VectorVest Composite looks good to the upside. AMD groupie. You know, that's probably, other than the Qs, the stock I've traded the most with options. You know, I've been following the stock. Like I said, my cousin's been talking about it since $8. I started trading it when it was, you know, I think the big first hit was when it jumped from like 30 to 50 many years ago. It was a quick move. Made a good little chunk of change off of that. I just like the company. I'm not saying, you know, it's not in my 2026 picks. I showed my cousin's holdings. He got rid of it. He made a killing. He used that money and bought a nice house in Charleston. I don't blame him. He's still holding some other good tech companies. And I'm not going to say AMD is bad by any means, right? But I like Micron. You know, I like Micron. I'm talking about Micron. I'm going to stick with Micron. I like TSM. I'm going to stick with TSM for my 2026 picks. All right. But I do like Lisa Su. I mean, she took out Intel no problem. So I do like that. So let's take a look at this color guard here, right? Look at this. Primary wave is still down. If you noticed, I said this yesterday, Micron pretty much went right into resistance zone. I see the upper wick. It broke out above it. I'm still bullish on it. Just be careful in case we do end up back in that zone today. I know, you know, Bank of Japan raised their interest rate, so that Japan carry trade. If you're familiar with that, typically that can, you know, hinder things like, you know, Bitcoin, crypto, some tech, things of that nature. But primary wave is still down right now. You see the price action here, 77.51. So to get a primary wave, we got about what, 20 cents to go. We got 5 days ago, 77.73. But come Monday, look, 77.51. So literally, if the market just goes up just a tad more, we will go back up to primary wave. Yeah, if Monday up, that's what I'm thinking. The DEW is still up. That's what's really keeping me ambitious right now. We know the confirmed call is not there, right? You see the signal is down. The BSR never went above 1. The health of the market was never there, right? That's not a bad thing, you know, if you're more conservative. It's been pretty volatile over the last few weeks, right? Depending on what you're buying. But it's still doing a good job, right? As soon as that BSR gets above 1, the market really shows some health there. Yeah, if you're more conservative, it would be, you know, safer to get in, right? LQDA, I do like LQDA. Light is up today. CLS bounced off support, was down yesterday, bought some on support. Yeah, as long as that DW holds and we get that primary wave back up on Monday, I like that going into 2026. I like that for the bulls, that's for sure. Now, as far as the advances here, we're seeing some broadening, almost 60%, currently at 57.9% right now. But that being said, you know, look at the color guard. Still yellow, a sea of yellow and red here. Still a sea of yellow and red. So if you're in tech and your trades just don't work right now, I don't think that's going to UAMY is up, silver and gold are up. Yeah, commodities are up. I'll let you know right now, tonight's video will be more picks for 2026 in my portfolio, and it's commodities. It's commodities. I'll let you speculate on which one. But the interesting about tonight's video is I actually went through kind of the history. I haven't finished the video. But I started this position about 2 years ago, right? Some of you may know that, some of you may not. But I'm going to put you in the big picture of gold. So, you know, if you haven't bought gold yet, if you're thinking about gold, silver, things like that, focus more on the gold. Silver, just kind of, I'm going to slide in there anyways. But you'll see where I'm going with this. But there are some key levels on the big picture of gold I want you to pay attention to going forward. So definitely check out tonight's video. All right, other than that, I got a special treat for you. Yesterday, we only got to cover a couple stocks there towards the end. So today, I want to focus on more of your stock picks. I'm going to try to get as many of those stock picks as I can. I know we got Thad doing Power Hour as well. So if if your stocks aren't looked at, definitely join him for Power Hour this afternoon. And then the next 2 Fridays, because I'll be here, I'll be covering for Thad. He'll be off. So next Friday and the following Friday, the first trading day of the year, January 2nd, which typically, I don't want to get into that. But anyways, January 2nd, that Friday, I'll also be covering, right? I was in CoreWeave, OLG, long or short? Long and short, long or short. I'm just curious. All right, let's take a look at this here. As far as the color guard, again, I see some troubling signs, but yet I also see optimism, right? So today, the advice of the color guard, VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks right now. If you're buying stocks, just know it's more aggressive, right? I'm not going to say it's the end of the world, but stay disciplined in case these stocks you're purchasing over the last few days don't necessarily work out. Because we're still in that primary wave down. We're still in the confirmed down situation, right? The DEW is still up. So for the swing traders, yes, I see the momentum still holding there, right? Still holding. All right. So that being said, we're going to jump over to VectorVest 7. I want to get your stocks. So go ahead and start putting them in. Because the app, much faster in VectorVest 7. Let's say that. So we're going to use VectorVest 7 today. All right, CYPH. So this is my Christmas present to you guys. I wish I could send out everybody cards, but I already had enough cards, as you all know. Started filling them out yesterday. So if you don't get a card from me, hopefully you'll get a stock pick, right? Hopefully you get a stock pick. Let's see here. CYP. You want to talk about, I know I saw that inflation report yesterday, but shipping's getting crazy. I was talking to my sister who's in charge of the Christmas cookies. That was interesting. Let's see here. CWVX. CRWG. What are these? Oh, CoreWeave ETFs. Yeah, let's take a look at those. I'd rather just look at CoreWeave personally. Oh, is it Sienna? Oh, Sienna. MSGS. What is that? Madison Square Garden? Okay. EAFE. What do you EAF? What are you talking about? I don't see that one. Do you have another one by chance, Holly G? Let's see here. TSM. That's one of my picks here. I like TSM, CGC, Lunar. Let me scroll up here. Light. KRMN. Oh, yeah. Carmen, hold on. Oh, it's already on the list. That's why. Let me see here. ETH. Probably wouldn't put any more stocks right now. Let me put these in. As soon as these are done, we'll go right back. I'm going to try to get as many as I can. This is interesting. I like these stocks I don't know. Stocks I don't know interest me. So if you ever want to sneak one in the comments section, if it's a stock we always talk about, probably not going to do honorable mention, right? But if it's something interesting that most of us never heard of, I might throw it in there. Costco, what's happening? Oh, let's take a look at Costco here. So we had MDLN. Is that Medline? Yep. I wonder what Medline's doing today. I haven't looked at it. I was looking at the history of gold this morning. Looking at gold. I will say this. I talk about my mom a lot because I do help her with her portfolio. And I actually asked her because I thought her financial advisor would give her some exposure to gold and silver. She ain't got no exposure to gold and silver the whole year. This is why I do not like financial advisors. If you want the best for your money, you better be in charge of it. Let me shut my door real quick. Got it open. So yeah, I got to get my mom into some gold and silver. And I'm not looking right now. I have to get in it within the next 3 weeks, right? But watch tonight's video. There's some interesting things there when it comes to gold and silver. Let's see here. Not stock. Oh, EFA index. Gotcha. Let me see how. Let's go back to that one. Coin path. I did, yes, because it already said it was in the list. I got the little message there. Intuitive Surgical. Galaxy, what is that? Allergy stock pick embargo has been Allergy stock pick embargo. Oh my God, that's too funny. Yo, we always need a laugh. Where's your mom's stock picks? Mom knows best. Mom knows best. I actually did ask her for her current holdings so I could put them in a watch list in VectorVest. Always, her financial advisor, get her in and out of stuff. So what I had for her, I think some things have changed, so I got to get it updated. But I tell you what, the fact that her financial advisor don't even got her, gold or silver, even gold like a GLD or SLV. You don't even have to be greedy with a miner, because miners can be volatile. So for her, I'd probably go with a spot ETF, just less volatility for the main position. If I want to throw a little, small gold or silver company in mine, that'd probably be the more conservative route for her, if I had to guess. Go easy with the miners. They have all made a big move. Sure, they can keep moving, but they can lose 10% easy. So, John, you made my point there. In tonight's video, I even talk about that because I actually do a clip from an old video talking about some of that issues with the miner in the favor of the spot ETF there. So, yes, John, I'm going to put that because, again, she's not a trader and stuff. So we'll see. He probably has her stuff where he can get the most commissions. Fox, that's the truth. I'm telling you right now, I don't know why she still uses a financial advisor. She got screwed in 2008. So one of the reasons why I love VectorVest, helping people that don't understand the market. That's why I typically use a very simple graph approach and just use VectorVest indicators. And you can tell that works out pretty well. All right, John, you get 2. You're on the nice list. You're on the nice list. But yeah, just try to keep it simple with some VectorVest market timing and our proprietary indicators like value. I mean, you see the success in these indicators. That's why y'all are still watching. Right? Unless you're a poet. All right, let me get rid of this comment here. Alex, that's why part of why I choose to go with SHNY. It's tied to the bullion. All right, let's take a look at it here. SHNY. All the tech stocks made a big run, and those crashed some. Gold is no different than any other industry group. John, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's why you want to watch tonight's video. I'm telling you, when I say the big picture of gold, you get the big picture of gold. I'm not just going to leave you here hanging on, a gold momentum trade right now, because that's what it is. It's a gold momentum trade right now. If you're an investor of gold and you're way up in your gold, just watch tonight's video. But with some basic things like looking at the Huey, stuff like that, you can stay on the right side of gold, And yeah, if you take some profits, when the Huey shows us a bearish signal, and you get back in a little bit at a cheaper price, if the Huey goes back positive, hey, it is what it is. I don't think my stock made it. KRMN. I literally just got the message say KRMN is already on the list. I apologize, Valaxi. Am I going crazy? I thought I saw that. ISRG. There we go. I'm getting caught up on the stocks here. You wanted to have your cousin on the show. Just have him join us every day in this chat. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Wait, he might be sleeping. He's a night owl. He's on his computer servers in the wee hours of the night. He's on a different schedule. See here, widen oh yeah, we're gonna widen all this stuff up too here. But yeah, I definitely want my cousin. He's just giving me so much good insight on semiconductors. With his expertise, I'm no semiconductor. I've learned over the last few years, mostly because of him and my own research with our videos here. What type of graph layout are you using during presentation? I use my own custom one. You can look at it. We'll take a look at it. But either I use my own custom, which gets a little bit more indicators there. But normally the VectorVest simple with a couple, basic chart patterns, couple basic moving averages. As long as that earnings per share is growing, as long as it's undervalued, value is growing, growth rate good. Because think about it. I can find good chart patterns. But if you find a good chart pattern in a crappy stock that's way overvalued and nothing looks good there, is the chart pattern likely to come to fruition? who knows, right? But I'd rather be in a stock that shows phenomenal fundamentals, phenomenal forecasted data, and gives me a nice, good technical pattern along with it, right? So I like it. Is tech having a turning around going into Christmas? Honestly, I would be kind of surprised tech is rallied as long as this far. The Japan carry trade, those interest rates there's got my attention. One of the reasons why I haven't filled up any more positions in our portfolio today. Again, I'm going with the VectorVest color guard. I'm going to hold off on purchasing today. Whether you do that or not, that's completely up to you. Ryan, Axon that Glenn recommended is very costly, so I'm planning to go grab with a single stock ETF. Yeah, it was overvalued too, so be careful on that one. Two of his other stocks, Oracle and Broadcom, which, Oracle popped today because of TikTok news right at our valuation. So Glenn might have been on to something with the Oracle one. Broadcom, like I said, just broke the descending channel. We got to get these portfolios filled sooner than later. So yeah, if it comes a little closer to valuation, I'd even like Broadcom, and especially if it's undervalued. We'll see what happens there. Let's see. I think that's all the stock. Well, we got a couple more up here. What is this? We got TPC. Okay. NPKI. What is that? I don't know what that one is. Carmen. Someone says, "What's up with this Carmen stock?" Everyone's like this Carmen stock. VSAT. How do you add value by price of viewers tab wish list? Oh yeah, no, that's a good one. Now that's a good question here. All right, before we get started, because as you can tell, I always add value divided by price. I'll be straight up with you. VectorVest alone, I can think of 2 indicators that are worth the subscription. MTI, value. If you want to throw some others in the category, let me know in the comments section. Jazz Data Vault. Hey, I told y'all head and shoulders. I got out above $2. I gave you a great trade. I even gave you fair warning. So when you rode that sucker to $1, please work on your discipline over the Christmas holiday season, whatever you may celebrate. But just have discipline. The biggest gift I can tell you right now, it doesn't matter how good, what indicators you have, how good VectorVest is. If you got no discipline, it ain't gonna work. VectorVest can't solve the discipline problem, right? That is something you would have to do as an individual. Let's see here. I have tech turn. Yeah, I think this is it. What we got? 42. Whew. Ooh, y'all really trying to get my work in today. All right, we got about 40 minutes left. So you know what that means. We're about right on time. ISRG just checked. It's not a German stock. Did that one? I put that one on the list, right? Maybe not. All right, but it is now. All right, let's just do this. You know what I mean? I like value. So let's start off with undervalued. Where's undervalued? All right, so here's all my undervalued. Not much price pressure, really. I mean, most of the RTs, yeah, besides Marvel, the other RTs are above 1. These look pretty good. We'll take a look at Marvel, see what kind of chart pattern or chart perspective I can give you there. Can it be growth? You buy the rumor, you sell the news when it comes to the bot stocks. That's a dangerous game there. Dangerous game. All right, let's see here. Let's look at some of the other ones. Look at the overvalued. Oh, look at all these overvalued. Lunar up 30%. Oh, man. The Moon stock, baby. Where is it? Video since, I don't think it's all of them. I think Moon, October 31st. I'm just curious. These stocks, a lot of them are overvalued. Very speculative picks here, right? But I'm just curious. Let's go October 21st. I just want to see how they're doing. Hey, if they're doing bad, I got no problem calling myself out. Because this isn't, short-term trades for most of these probably would have made sense. But a lot of them are overvalued. You can see where they're overvalued there, right? But a lot of these stocks are trying to solve a big problem here. So let's quick test. Ooh, see, rough. On average, pretty flat to down, right? MNTS down 54%. Rocket Labs up 10%. So there's the ETFs up at the top, the big names. They're all overvalued, though, especially the momentum today you're seeing. RV's below 1. Be careful with these. All right, let's go back here. AMA, your picks. PL is a space stock too. Yes. It's just didn't make that list. I'm going to do another space video. I'm not done with them, but yeah, I like robotic stocks, right? Value can be seen as a problem, but a lot of that money hasn't been baked in yet, right? I know what Lunar's trying to do. I know what a lot of these companies are trying to do. So let's graph these now. Let's break them down. Oh, real quick before we do that, wish list, value divided by price, right? Anytime you want to add a column here, you just right click on any stock. You're going to go to layout. You have this column coming, right? Over here, you'll see value divided by price, right? So simply, if you want to move an indicator over to an existing column, so here's all the field lists that you could choose. There's a ton of them here. This is a my custom field. And look, value divided by price here. So you would just move it over to the right-hand side. I created that. Price divided by volume. Oh, so you might have to create this one. All right. So once it's over here, you just move it over, and these are the existing columns. So like this, for example. It starts at the bottom, so you have to move it up. But I'm not going to do that since I already have it. Now to create a custom one, you just go over here to Tools, go to Custom Field Builder. These fields that you build here will appear here, but they'll also appear in Unisearch. So if there's kind of crazy stuff, that one is built in. Okay. Clearly, I probably just ignored it and created another one if I had to guess. But if you ever want to create your own fields, just an example here, if I want to find stocks, I might already have this one, but VST, right? Combination of value, safety, and timing. Let's say I want to add a perspective there, right? Say I want some growth rate. So I do multiply, for example. We'll go fields. We'll go capital appreciation, growth rate. So now instead of just weighing on VST, we'll take VST times growth rate, right? So it's a combination of the best two, right? Will come into the top of the list. You can get really creative with this. You can overcomplicate this real quick if you want. But if there is a field here that you don't see, you can create it in the custom field builder. You just validate it, save changes, exit, and then you'll find it here or in Unisearch, just depending on how you want to use what you just created. All right, let's jump into the charts here. We're seeing the momentum clearly in the market today. So let's graph all. So if you want to see my layout, this is not a custom, or this is a custom layout. I have this one. I've got a couple, but this is typically what I use at 3 and 8 video. I've just got the basic moving averages here, 3, 8 for my short-term momentum. And typically, the market likes to find pivots around a 20-day EMA. We got a 200-day moving average, and then this 40 should not be an EMA. Remove. So if you want to add a moving average, just right-click. Add moving average. Simple. That's what it should be. 40. Move that up here. Just drag and drop. And to make sure that this stays the way I want it, you learned something today. You scroll back up here, and this graph layout, so there's a little drop-down arrow. I'll go to Save, Modify, Layout. 3, 8, save. Boom. So now that 40 will save as the right one, right? All right. So this is what I typically look at, just, some basic moving averages here. But more importantly, if I get rid of these moving averages, right, I look at value. I've got RV here. I got forecasted data, sales growth rate, RT, earnings growth rate. So you can see other than some basic moving averages, yeah, I got some, well, this is kind of more for, if I want to look at star search without having to go to the star search layout, I do have the Bollinger Band set up right here. I've also got support resistance. That tends to be important. But yeah, this is a little bit more an intricate layout. It's really just honed in on some basic technicals and a whole lot of VV proprietary indicators, right? Other than that, I usually just go into VectorVest Simple. If you want to throw Fibonacci on there, RSI, ADX, I've got an RSI 9 sometimes I'll look at, right? Typically for RSI 9, I usually look for divergences to get, some insight on the next move, right? I'm not really so worried about the 20 and 80 because you can see right here, for example, light. Actually, we'll just use this as an example today. Let's learn something today, right? Here's RSI 9, right? 80 is typically the overbought territory, right? Every time it hits 80, look. top of the channel, right? Little dip, bottom of the channel. Top of the channel. Gets back to 80, right? Rides it. But the trend is never really over, right? So if you're just going to trade off RSI 9 or 20, whatever, I'd probably extend it out a little bit. As far as a time period, if I was going to do a little bit more swing trading, some more aggressive trading, more ins and outs here. But I wouldn't rely on this alone, because RSI, it reached 80 back here saying it was overbought. I know you can extend the time period and probably extend this 80 period as well. But that was at the very low, right? I mean, that was low in the overall trend, right? That was very low in the overall trend. And look at RT staying above 1 this entire time. So that's why I couple, some very basic technicals, which, the market does move based off some of those technicals. Or, stocks can move off those technicals as well. But that's not the end of the story, right? Using RT can help me keep me in the trade. Using something simple like a channel here. This, for example, we got light, right? Just keep extending it. Giving us the fish. But now you can see volatility is actually kind of waning here. This is probably some type of crazy chart pattern. You can see it broadening. This might be broadening highs. I have to go back to that very thick 1,000-page chart encyclopedia, right? But I'm going to stick to my existing kind of channel here. It's done pretty well so far, right? Until we break out to the bottom of this channel. Hey, I'm not going to be too worried about it, but I will say it's overvalued. I do like this area, which we retested. So honestly, if we do get a break and a pullback, probably look right here. Just simple support, right? If you add a moving average, let's see what that moving average. Look at the 20. It's right above in that channel. That's healthy. I like the 20-day EMA in the channel. That's a healthy move there. If I add the 40, look where the 40 is, right around my support level. If I had to do a zone, it's probably the top of the zone, right? The swing low from this point to bottom of the candlestick. See the 40 moving in here? So if it did break this, I'd probably look around here for support right below the channel, right? There's no way I buy at that high price. Yeah, I wouldn't either. But if you're in it, I'd ride that channel as long as it's making you some money. Now, as far as the downside risk, that's up to you. You could use, you don't have to sell it all at once, right? Gradually take profits as you see, cracks in this trend. But we're not seeing that right now. Full body candlestick, very little wick at the top. I like it. So let's make this a little simpler here. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the 40 here. We'll just keep the 20 for now. But still looks good, right? Still looks good. Don't overthink it. Here's Sienna. Just keep, I like it. Look at breakout too. Retest on the 20. You see the support from the prior swing high. If I did a zone here, boom, 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 right at that. Touch, perfect touch at the bottom. That's, again, when you look at stock charts all day, every day, the stuff, honestly, I don't really have to add it to the chart. I just kind of see it in my eyes, but I do so for visual purposes for you. But just connecting highs and lows. I mean, it's just very basic stuff. Light, value 154. So stick to that ascending channel. That would be my suggestion right now. Sienna, again, I like the price pattern. It's above this trend. Just know investors are paying a premium. I love the fact that value is rocking and roaring too. It's just overvalued right now, right? If it breaks this trend line, I'm going to look for some value, right? Otherwise, I'm going to rely on the technicals right now. Sales growth rate. And if you're a long-term investor, you might have a little bit more wiggle room, right? You may not be too concerned about a little pullback. You just got to ask yourself what your goals are with Sienna. As far as forecasted data, growth rate 25%, sales growth rate 20%. I like this. I like it a lot, actually. Let's move that. Is your RT still above 1? Yeah, there's no problems with this one right now. Oh yeah, look at this valuation. Look, but what I do like, look at this. The value dropped, but now it's ticking up again. That's good. That's good. And I talked about this before. If you just, we don't have many candlesticks to work for, right? So if you're an investor, I'd focus more on the value, right? If you're just trading this thing, trying to make a couple bucks, I'd buy right here. Just a nice trend line. As long as it stays above that, hey, capture those profits, right? But the one thing I do like about this IPO is undervalued. A lot of these IPOs that come out, I know the example yesterday, it was Trump Media. It was way overvalued, right? Way overvalued. And that was not a political statement. I just was interested in the fusion part of that story, which I still am interested in the Fusion part of that story. There'll probably be a video on some Fusion stuff soon. Here's TSM. So this is my first zone, right? Try to catch it. That's why I bought a little bit of TSM on my 2026 portfolio. But I'll be honest, I'm not sold on it because look, we're still in this zone, which, you know, we broke it. So now it's resistance, still at the 20-day EMA. If I get rejection, hopefully I can get it cheaper. You know, I got what, 2-3 weeks to fill these positions here. But that's why I just did a simple fill right now. But overall, you know, from a trader's perspective, I'm not going to be too bullish till we get above this line here, about 291. As far as bearish, obviously, you know, rejection and breaking below this resistance would be would signal that. But overall, TSM looks good. Value rising, price rising, sales growth rate. This is well, I have to look at the market cap. What is their market cap now? 2 trillion, one and some change maybe. Well, I got it right here. Well, I did have it here. Oh yeah, market cap, MC. 1.5 trillion, 1.5 trillion, right? So it's a big company. And for to have these type of earnings, that's why it's on my list. That's why it's on my list. MU, I'm surprised if MU is not in the list here. Ryan AI is confirming all of my previous thinking about Light and CN. Sorry, Tabby. Again, I don't marry a stock. I would, you know, if you want to marry your stock and write it down whichever way it goes, that's up to you. Nope, I was trained to be disciplined. And if it's way overvalued like this, I stick to the technicals, not the hype. Let's see here. TSM, I mean, it's undervalued. It's, you know, it's right there with NVIDIA. It ain't going nowhere. CLS, and I am aware of the biggest problem with TSM or biggest concern. That would be a Chinese invasion. That was mentioned on the video last week by someone in the comment section. That's exactly why Warren Buffett dropped that position. So that would be my one warning when it comes to that, right? All right. Sales growth rate, 28%. Earnings growth rate, 31%. This looks good. Look, a little overvalued, overstretched, but came right back. Value. You can see my zone here. I'm not going to, you know, make any decisions while we're in the zone. You see the sell rating was flashed, right, yesterday, so that's giving me some warning. But if we break below this, we get back into CLS undervalued, right? No, I'm not saying jump in it tomorrow if it drops below this. No. My next level support's right here, 221. We got a gap fill. We actually just came shy of last time. Puts us in undervalued territory. I like that, especially with the price pressure on, especially with the sale right now. Recommendation as of yesterday. But again, I'm not going to make any decisions on this one. I don't want to get, you know, too crazy either way. But you got 298 on the up end. On the down end, you got 262. So you got a little bit of range there, right? A little bit of range. Here's EAT. I will say, look, value rolled over, price going down. I didn't like that. But look at this value. I've said it before. When you start bottom fishing on these stocks and you see value dropping, I get a lot more excited when value goes up. You know, price, obviously, you know, that's where the money's at, right? But if price just goes up and value keeps going down, I don't like that. But this, you see my resistance here. It's going to go right back in the channel, looks like. Rejection. Looks like it might go right back in there. I like this, actually. So I'm going to write this one down. Eat. All right. But yeah, look, rejection, pivot off the 20. You don't need a whole lot of crazy indicators here, right? Let's see here. Ryan, Bill, we don't get political, bud. I didn't get political yesterday when I brought it. Stuck to the money. This channel is about making money, not making political points. There's about 1,000 other YouTube channels for that, right? Pick which one you want to go to. All right. As far as, whoa, look at the value. Rising astronomically. Look at the breakout potential on this, too. This is nice. Who gave me TP? Was this you, Bill, or is this John? Maybe this was John. I feel like this is, maybe it might have been John. MU. I'm surprised. Someone might have put MU in the list. We'll see. If we have time at the end, we'll definitely do that. But this looks good. Just looking for a breakout, right? The last thing I want is get rejection here and stay back in the channel. Top of the channel around $70, right? $70. Right now we're at 69.74. Nice pick. Yeah, I like this. I mean, if you want the confirmation, you're about $1 or so away from it. Other than this, which is this an earnings? Yeah, looks like that was earnings. Yeah, it gapped up. And the stock said, nope, we ain't going out of this channel yet. So just be careful. But that was a gap up and back in the channel. If we can get a break through it, not a gap through it, I'd be more confident. Look at the volume, too. Volume shows you conviction. I see volume kind of withering as we get close to this resistance, right? So let's see where the breakout happens. It is pertinent and non-political as people lose money on these scams. Well, yeah, a lot of IPOs that are scams, right? TPC going to dip again. Well, if I had to guess, TPC, if we got a breakout at this resistance, right, where would I look for my retest? Right here, right? So if you don't catch the breakout, maybe you can catch the retest and the pivot there if it happens, right? I don't have a crystal ball, but yeah, that's exactly what I'd be looking at. AEO, kind of a cup, not really the handle here. It kind of just gapped through the whole handle mess, didn't it? American Eagle Outfitters, I've said the retailer's probably gonna be hot going in the holidays. You can see the momentum there, well above the 20. Now the holiday season's almost over. I wouldn't be afraid to take some profits there. I know we still got the buy rating, but we are well overextended from the 20-day. Let's see if I use a freehand line. Yeah, because that'll be the first level support. 20-day moving up. I got some upper wicks here. So if it does start to roll over, hopefully the support in the 20-day EMA will save it for sure. Sales growth rate turnaround. Earnings growth rate trying to turn around. I see just a holiday retail momentum trade right now. I do like the value going up. Maybe after this, I don't know what's going to happen, but say this holiday momentum ends, right? Price comes down, value goes up for my investors. Probably get a better deal. Tigo, this looks good. I mean, if this isn't on your radar, I don't know why. Lower left, upper right, steady Eddie, undervalued, value rising. Forecasted data, let's see here, -1. Let's see that sales growth rate. Not the prettiest, but the chart looks pretty. The chart looks pretty. Growth rate here, 28%. That sales, it's moving in the right direction, though. It's improving. But just the stock itself, nice steady Eddie, lower left, upper right. Let's change this now. Let's just keep it simple. Okay, even keep our stop price, keeping us in it. I like that stop price. A little bit of troubled waters here, but it seems like it was just a nice little pivot right off this 1, 2, 3 break. Came right back down, retest, right? TRT picked up on that pretty quickly, went right back into positive territory. All right, there's another steady Eddie, lower left, upper right. Don't overthink this one. Let's check the value, see what the value's giving us here. It kind of, no EPS showing on these graphs. There's earnings per share here at the bottom. I've got forecasted earnings per share. Here, I can move it up top. Well, thought I was going to do that. There we go. Yeah, there's the earnings per share. But yeah, rising earnings per share. Value's right, but it just trades at a natural premium, right? You can see value and price. I mean, if I just draw a freehand line here, you can see that premium is not far. I mean, it pretty much just trades at that natural premium. So I'm not too worried about that one. If you want to put it on a 5-year chart or longer, a little bit overstretched here, right? But value's catching up. I do like that. I'd stick to the technicals though. And you can see 1, 2, 3 bottoms here. I'd probably just put a trend line. Probably pretty nice. Just stay above that trend. Actually, I'm just curious here. Boom. Boom. Looks like ascending channel. Looks like ascending channel. All right. Shiny. So this is micro sectors gold. 3 times leverage. Nice lower left, upper right. It's gold. I like it. Buy rating, this is going to be 3 times as volatile as gold. So just be careful. If you're conservative, probably not one for you. But RT is still giving me higher lows here. Now, not once, but if RT can give us a higher high from this prior swing high, I'd even feel better about it. But a lot of momentum there. The stock went from $60 all the way up to 136. Be careful. Like I said in tonight's video, I like gold, but at the same time, historically speaking, gold could use a breather. Let's see here. Here's PL. Woo! There it is. Came back a retest. Off to the races. You got to see what they're doing, though. Clearly, the value is not there. A lot of speculation, a lot of hype. Just make sure the numbers make sense and that the retail traders, or just traders in general, haven't just pushed the stock to unsustainable levels. And I haven't gone over the company's financials, but Looking at the VectorVest software, earnings per share is negative, going in the right direction, but it's overvalued. Let's take a look at some other things here. Let's go to growth rate earnings. Where's that? Sales growth rate. All right, sales is starting to climb. Growth rate's starting to come back here, right? And look at this one. You can see the volatility just ticking up, ticking up. Oh, I don't know where that line went. It's not as pretty as I like. That's a dangerous one. There's a lot of momentum here, but as long as it stays above 16 in the support zone here, I like this retest. I still like it. It's just overvalued. I'm going to stick to the technicals on this one. ISRG. Nice gap up. Let's go to 6 months here. You can see the support. You don't want to... Oh, yeah. There it is right there. There's the touch from the bottom. Touches from the top now. So this is a key level support. We got 523. Don't want to break this right now. Or 569. You see pretty range bound ever since the jump up. And look at the value. Now, I have a feeling if this stock was undervalued and we got a gap up, there might have been some follow through. But right now, I wouldn't really go either direction until we break out. Here's Bora. This is a petroleum company. Like I said, petroleum has shown some opportunities, but far and few between when it comes to those stocks here. This one looks good. Price action rising, value rising here. I'm not the biggest petroleum person. You see, value just dropped like crazy. Price is dropping. Look, price is turning around, but look at value starting to turn around. Now both are doing it. I like it, but it's got falling earnings per share. Petroleum, as long as it's making you money. But if this stock starts turning into a headache, nope, I'll drop it. Here's Lunar. Let's see what old Lunar's doing. So there's the broadening, right? Boom, boom, boom. Talked about it up here. So, we got 2 touches and we came all the way up here and touched again. You didn't take no profits at 25 bucks. I don't know what to tell you. Right now we're at 14. Hopefully we get back up there. I see the real resistance around 16.50 and 17. We actually are approaching this prior high right here. So it's probably going to be the first level of resistance. But if we can get above that, which we just got to take out this upper wick, we're close to it. I can see us moving right up there. See what the news is, right? See what the news is. But I know a lot of, these companies are very news-driven, partnerships, government contracts, things of that nature. See the growth rate all over the place. Earnings per share is all over the place. It's a speculative stock, right? Now, if you're a believer in some of the moon technology and stuff, hey, I like it. But yeah, see what the news is. Anybody know what the news is here? How do you do it? How do you do what? How do you do what, Muggy? Rocket Lab, A-Lab, any more labs, right? Oh, man, a lot of labs, right? But Lunar, stay disciplined with that one. You can see with that chart, it could go all over the place. But yeah, I see what the news is. I didn't see the news. All right, here's NPK International. Here's another petroleum company showing opportunity. Value's rising, price is rising. I like that. As long as value keeps rising, I like it. But we saw in the last stock, value starts to roll over. Be careful, because like this, you see value rolling over here, right? Price action rolling over with it. Oh, yeah, I did ISRG. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, ISRG. But yeah, I just want to stay in that channel. Just overvalued. If it breaks below it, there's a big gap to fill. Let's see here. Marvel, is that the next one? All right, here's Hood. 1249. Okay. But this one looks good. Lower left, upper right. Still got, well, we just transitioned to a hold here. I see the rollover. If I'm looking for support, it needs to be about right in here. You see right there. About right here. That's where I want to find support. And look at our stop price right below that support. So if we break it, VectorVest will tell you. News on which one? Lunar. Hood, we caught this. This needs to stay. If this breaks, I'd be looking for more of a value opportunity here. As I see value rising, I see price hitting lower and lower. I like Hood. Right now it's at 121. It's got a sell rating on it, so be careful. Be careful with hood. Let's see here. But yeah, as long as this holds, if this doesn't hold, we break this, be careful, because I'd probably look somewhere in here on 90 to 84, and value can take up some more. We can get hood, fairly valued or undervalued in 2026. That would potentially be a great opportunity here. But yeah, as long as this holds, we're good on hood. Lots of stocks today with RT crossing above 1, and lots of stocks with MACD crossovers. There we go. News on which one? Land rovers. Oh, yeah. They do little rovers for the moon. So either one just hit the moon or one might be going to the moon. But if I had to guess, that's probably what the news is right now. Here's Marvel. Got a lot of resistance up here. Let's look at value. This stock was just way overvalued again. Look at our value here. Way overvalued. Price came crashing down. Now it's moving in tangent with value. Actually, undervalued. Value just jumped. So I like this. Earnings per share looks good right now. Our earnings growth rate looks good. Sales growth rate, 37%. This is good. We've got some obstacles in the near future for sure as far as resistance levels. But just generally speaking, it actually looks really good here. Again, this is why I like undervalued stocks or fairly valued, especially semiconductors, right? We saw Oracle, we've seen Broadcom in the, currently heading towards our valuation. So, don't sleep on that value. Here is CoreWeave, double leverage, long. Ooh. Let's look at CoreWeave. This is a nice pivot. I'm gonna lie. It's the same pivot we did before. You see that? Same pivot we talked about before. If you're playing it again, it wants to break this descending channel. You see that, right? Now, value is a little higher. I'd be a little bit more enthused when it comes to investment perspective. As far as a trading perspective, I still I would treat this like a trade, short-term trade. Look for the same resistance area, right? If we break it, I'll probably look around 113. Nice big screen, green candle, right? Dead cat bounce. That's what I don't know, Bill. I don't want to say that's what I'm thinking, but I'm not that bullish on it. Definitely not coming in as an investor right now. But you can see it losing weakness in this descending channel. I'd only be a little bit more convinced, like iron, the value's going up. CoreWeave, I don't know. I'm not sold on it. Let's put it like that. If it's just goes up because we get a little Christmas rally over the next few trading sessions, treat it as such. But after potential Christmas rally, get back into what the chart's saying you, what the indicators are telling you. All right, this one here, Reppy, it's gappy. It looks pretty. You see, gappy. It was petroleum here, but it's moving like the other petroleum stocks. Look at price action's moving, value's moving, earnings per share is moving. I like this. Let's see. Let's just add a simple. Add moving average, exponential, do 20. So we broke the 20. So we lost momentum there. Just be careful with this one as of right now. It's very gappy. That's the only reason I don't like it. Cost? No. Does not look good. It's just overvalued. Why would you pay that much premium for Costco? No, I don't like that at all. Let's go to a 5-year chart. You can see, look, 5 years ago, Costco is fairly valued. Value is higher, but the price has just gone out this way. You can see the rollover happening too. Look at the rollover. Clear rollover. This is a weekly chart here. Did we take out this low? That's what I want to know on the weekly. Yeah, we just broke that. So I could probably see some support here, which is around 788. Probably treat it like a zone since that's just an upper wick. Bottom of that zone, 756. But that still puts you overvalued. So just be careful. Goldman saying oil going to drop to $52 next year. Possibly. Wouldn't be too surprised. Looks like everybody's trying to flood the markets with oil these days. Let's see. Here's another one. Let's go to 6 months. Just gappy. I was gonna say, you see the rollover starting here, pretty nice rollover, but then we broke that, so we can't. I don't want to go back under this low. I don't want to go back under this low. No, this high took out this high, this low took out this low. I like that. So yeah, 75. I don't want it to drop 70. You see the stop here? Not far below, just below about 72 and some change, 72, 77, huh? Because Kramer loves Costco. Oh dear. Let's hear Axon. Yeah, just so overvalued. I don't know what it caught support for. What's support over here? Oh yes, consolidation. Look at this. If I just draw some lines, top, probably bottom, boom. Does that look familiar? Look, that's what it took me half a second to realize it. It looks like just a simple consolidation pivot from prior candlesticks. Now, if we get some follow through, that might shape up today. But really, resistance is what. I don't have a crystal ball, but if we get a little Santa rally, I'm not going to be surprised. Some of these stocks might run. This is where I would like to see it run to about 640 would be my first target there. We'll see. We get a little Santa rally. All right, UPath. It's just like straight out of premium. A lot of pressure today. You see the moving average at 20 here, trying to catch it. It's level support. It's been on there for the last few trading sessions, actually. Not too sold on that. Well, what is this support here? I got this high. I got this high. Where's that put me at? Yeah, that's the breakout. Never retested. Never retested this. Yeah, I'm not going to be bullish. Not quite yet. If we get a little pop up to the upside, again, Christmas rally. The big picture here, I'm looking at around 15 bucks. Fill this gap. I got a lot of support here to retest as well. But we'll see. And the value keeps going up. Might get this thing at a fair deal as well. Here's Stellantis. Yeah, look at this. Value dropping, price dropping, right? But look at it now. Value rising, price rising. Let's look at the 5-year. Let's see the big point. Is this a monster cup in the making? I don't know. As long as that value could keep climbing to the upside, this could be a monster cup in the making. We'll see. That's messy right now. But the only thing that would give me some real good confidence in that is that value just keeps going up and up and up. Right? If we get a cup and handle with value, and that could look good. But right now, this is the very early mist of, only got the first half of it, right? Second half's the hard part. All right, here's Carmen. Carmen Holdings, Aerospace and Defense. You guys see the news. I mean, the traders are just taking these stocks crazy levels. $71. We value it $12.58, right? I've seen this too many times where these new companies, get way overstretched, start making their way back to value. So either I need to see some more life and value, or I'd stick to the technicals, right? Stay disciplined on this position. Here's IIPR Innovation. Oh, marijuana thing. Not looking good. Not looking good. Where's value? Trade at a premium, value drop, price drop. But look at this. Value's not coming back. Almost looks like resistance here. If I get rid of the blue line. Was that 20-day EMA? There we go. Get rid of stop price. Man, you see it's almost resistance. I want to see that value tick up. That value ticks up, maybe get excited. But right now, no. I see a little bit of a channel here, range bound. Break out of the channel before you make a decision. Well, I can't say that, but that's what I would do. I'm not going to make a decision within the channel. I want to see where the direction takes me. Can it be growth? Another one. There's the resistance, the value, not quite coming back. Here are some pops. Let's go to a 1-year chart. Buy the rumor, sell the news, right? But hey, look, the news pushed the stock to overvalued territory, right? So if you want some value now, you might get in there. Yeah, you're catching a falling knife. So I wouldn't say just jump in it today all willy-nilly. If I'm going to get into a healthcare marijuana stock, a pot stock, it's already volatile enough. If I can find some value in that space, maybe it'd be worth the volatility. Otherwise, that's a lot of risk, right? A lot of risk. Better be disciplined. Here's VSAT. Diverged away from our value, but look, value came right back. Trading at a slight premium here. Just taking a breather. I'm not mad at it at all. And I got a touch from the bottom. Got a touch from the top. I'm going to put a line right here. You see boom, boom, candle, boom, boom. So let's put the line. You see it here. I like that retest. I like that momentum off that retest here. I like this low. If we can hold it, it's higher than this low. So, but if I can see a little bit more life and value in the near term, that would get me excited too. Madison Square Garden, way overvalued stock. Don't look like it does a whole lot. Does a whole lot of nothing. So unless it's paying me a good dividend, I'm going to move on with my life. Here's Ethereum. It's still holding my support zone here. Ethereum had a good run. You can see it's got to hold the support here. I'm not going to be too bullish on Bitcoin or Ethereum right now. I got to go back to the charts. I'll review it soon though. But yeah, it's got to hold the support. Well, I do like, look, higher low, higher low. We got to hold this pattern. If this breaks, this is Ethereum. This could drop real quick. Be careful. Here's Boyle. So here's over the cup, right? Second half of the cup. Some of these times they don't come to fruition. You see, boop. No more cup on that one, right? But a lot of resistance here. A lot of resistance on Boyle. I don't like to trade natural gas. It's all over the place. You can see it's all over the place. I would stick to some basic moving averages, some basic technicals, and if you're disciplined, this could be pretty easy. NBIL long. Okay, we're up today. A little bit momentum day, but the overall trend is down. If we look at NBIS, we broke it. Look at this. We're probably just going to retest it from the bottom in. No surprise. So look for rejection or see if we get back in the channel. That would be my suggestion. But this is a lot of momentum to the downside, right? We broke the channel. We're overvalued. Say it like I did Palantir. We're in no man's land. At this point, it's up to you, right? So, but as of right now, we haven't retested this channel from the bottom. So that's what I would be looking for. So today's optimism doesn't really matter to me in the grand scheme of things when it comes to NBIS. CWVX. This is CoreWeave double long. So we did that one as well with CoreWeave. Again, it looks like it wants to break the channel. But yeah, natural gas has a lot of different factors. I mean, you got to watch a lot of different things trying to trade that. Let's see here. CoreWeave. Yeah, this is the resistance here. Just like NBIS. I want it to break, this prior swing high. Palantir flip-flopping between buy, hold, and buy today. We take a look at Palantir. Coin. Being crypto related, no surprise, trades at a premium here. This is the level I've been waiting for. We're getting pretty close to it. I mean, here was a nice pivot off this consolidation here. Yeah, I still don't think this is out of the realm of possibility. 211. You see value trying to make its way up there. Right now it's at 145. Sales growth rate 22%, earnings 34%. Not a bad stock. You know me, I like crypto, just not the time. Not the time. Here's Poet. There we go. Only stays above this trend line. That's what we want. Stay above the trend line. Breaks that trend line. The stock is so overvalued. I've done a lot of research. I like the company as well. But it's one of those situations. I'm going to stick to the technicals. I'm not going to trade my heart. Alex says no gap fill. You talking about on coin? Yeah, why do you think I got the line right there? I got consolidation right here. No. To really test some people's stops, we might hit this swing low here. That 181. But yeah, there was never a gap fill here. Right? Never gap. Not this one. Not that one. This one, time will tell. Time will tell. Poet, again, stay above the trend line. Right? I mean, this is a very small... it says clean energy, and it does, but they're involved in the semiconductor space. It's very volatile, right? Right now, I'm looking at a shoulder, a head, potential shoulder, right? Just watch this trend line. Because I said the same thing about Data Vault. I sold it right at the right time, right at the second shoulder. Now it's back at $1, and if you're holding it still, again, that's why I say discipline. Here's Applied Digital, right? Resistance on this line every time, right? Maybe we'll head back up to it. But look at this. Is this something? Looks like the beginning of a channel. Boom, boom. You look, just put you on it. Applied. Beginning of a channel right here. Looks like the pings came in. Where's you pong? Up at the top, right? Ping at the bottom, pong at the top, or vice versa, depending on how you want to say it. But either way, it looks like apply. Just entered a ascending channel. Hopefully it breaks its downtrend. You talk about Coinbase. JBL just had earnings that didn't sell off while other stocks were selling off. Same with MU. See, here's Hillian Holdings. I don't know much about the company. I've never even heard of it, but it's overvalued. Earnings per share is dropping. Sales growth rate negative 100. Earnings negative 8. Negatory. Negative. No, I don't like this one. It hasn't even had a buy rating in the past 10 months. Let's get a year. Let's go to 5 years. No. Value just declined. And that's a long picture. Right? That's 5 years. Nope. You see, way overvalued, came back down. You thought you're getting a deal. That's why I say look for value rising, right? I didn't make this software. I just listened to it. And you can see why. This is a perfect example. I'm going to skip this one. I don't like it. IONQ. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, still just there's my support. Came back down, found my support from these prior highs. It's trying to grab it. But look at that value though. You know, since quantum became popular, this is what happened, right? Broke the trend, quantum became popular, and now it's, you know, not far from a meme stock, unfortunately. So just stay disciplined. Stay disciplined on this one. Because I see resistance, I see sell ratings. I see pressure for the bulls. Not much momentum for them. Here's Data Vault. Again, shoulder, head, shoulder, right? I bought this on a live stream. It was an AMA, about 100 shares, like $1.50 maybe. Rode it up to the shoulder. And then once I started getting this rejection here, I let it go. Yeah, I think it was like 212, I think, when I sold it. I think it just broke this. So that's how you stay disciplined, right? You know, if you're going to hop into, you know, tokenized stocks and AI and quantum and all that stuff, and you don't have discipline, trade the chart, not your heart. That is probably one of the most important things Glenn has ever, you know, taught on this channel. And it's a beautiful saying. It just makes sense, right? Look, it's $1.04. This value dropping, we talked about that. I was nervous about that, right? So I had value drop and I'm at a shoulder. Yeah, the stock is gone. Sorry. If it comes back, you know, let it come to you. Let it get back under our valuation. Or let's see if value ticks up, right? Let's see if value can tick back up here. See here, Alarium broke this. Let's go back to a year. See what we got here. Yep. We're right back in the consolidation zone. You see the rejection there, the upper wick. You know, unless we get back above this 844 level sooner than later, and if we do, we got a gap to fill here. Be a nice little move. But this right here, look at the value just plummeted. And the bottom of this range here is $5.48. It's a pretty wide range too, right? No, I don't like this one. You know, if this value kept ticking up, but look at the earnings was not only a warning to the traders, or, you know, investors. Everyone bailed out of this position since earnings, or most of them looks like, from $12 to $8. But look at the value. The VectorVest software also telling you that earnings was ugly. You know, I don't have to look at the earnings report to know something good or something not good happened here, right? So no, I don't like this one right now. But if it does break above this, got a little bit of a gap fill here, you could see some short-term momentum. That would be my, you know, best case scenario for the bulls right now. Here's CYPH. Oh, man. I could see it from here. Look at this retest. Boom, boom, boom. Again, be careful because look how overvalued this is. Cyberpunk Technologies. Zoom in here. RT's well below 1 right now. Sell recommendation was in effect. I don't know when you bought this, but the only reason why I would be somewhat bullish on this position, it ain't from the, you know, fundamental standpoint, it would just be from this pivot. That high is around 98 cents. Right now we're at $1.08. There's the consolidation. Look, resistance right at the beginning of the consolidation. Right? That's why I say you can find nice pivots. You can find nice chart patterns. You know, if this ends up working out, hey, is what it is. That's good. You know, if you're in the trade, right? But I don't like these type of trades in way overvalued stocks. You know, yeah, I do like the earnings per share rising. You know, growth rate actually is starting to tick back up. But this is a drug company. You got to see what they're making, right? I'm not familiar with the drug company. But just the fact that it's overvalued, be careful on it. This is a very speculative play here. But right now, I potentially could see, you know, if we break above this, especially this consolidation right here, you know, there's a little swing pivot, right? Not much more than that. Not much more than that. All right. Whew. 42 stocks today, 110. I got to get out of here. I got to make tonight's video. Everyone, enjoy your weekend and join Thad. He'll be doing power as well in 50 minutes. So join the community room. Join the, it's on both sides, right, Clay? The power hour? Is it dual stream today? Okay. All right, it is dual stream today, so you can come in either via the community room or you come in YouTube, right? But just join. Thad will give you a lot of guidance. I've watched his, he's definitely a little bit more, I guess, conservative in what he says than I am. But after you do it for a while, you know, I'm just going to give you my opinion, right? And I combine it with what I see in VectorVest, and I'm a straight shooter. Now, hit that like button, like Tabulous said. Hit that like button. I got 42 stocks for y'all today. I think there's some good analysis there, and there's some good plays there, right? But just be careful going forward right now. That color guard's still showing us some warning. Everyone, enjoy your weekend. See you Monday. Bye.